Hello?
It's a prank call.
You don't say. You don't say. You don't say.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Welcome back to another episode of Hollywood Night Heat. Today we're going to talk about the Fantastic Four trailer and the upcoming movie, First Steps. Actually, we're going to watch the trailer, then you're going to watch us watching the trailer. Here we go.
Sounds good.
Where's the remote? Fuck it. Yes.
He looks pretty good.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a lot. Oh, nice.
Dr. Doom. I didn't know Dr. Doom was going to be in this.
Yeah, they hired Robert De Niro Jr.
She almost fell 3 feet.
He saved her, though.
The what? Oh. Okay.
Nice. Yeah, they had to count to 4. That's great. And they go through all the numbers before we go.
Hey.
Have you ever seen this?
Yes. I
There's
enjoyed
Freddy
it.
Krueger.
Was this when that...
She becomes intangible when she becomes invisible, apparently.
Yeah.
That's a pretty badass looking thing.
Yeah.
I remember that cover of Film Threat. It was fantastic. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Who's that bad guy?
That's the
England?
jeweler, but he's supposed to be, he's replacing either the puppet master or...
All right.
Yeah. I guess they couldn't do the jeweler for some reason. I mean, the puppet master for some reason. Anyway.
Hold on.
Okay.
Well, what's this now? The sequel?
This is the actual trailer. Someone was playing a joke on us.
Oh.
I'm sure it was either Edwin Fucker Smucker or Gene Herpes.
Thought we fired them. Hey, there's...
Speaking of Herbie.
Glad Reed has a mustache. That was the one thing he was missing.
Yeah. In all other incarnations. Yeah. See, I'm glad they got Pedro to be in the Marvel Universe, but I'm not sure if Mr. Fantastic was the right character for him to portray.
Why can't they find an actual blonde person to play a blonde person in the Marvel Universe?
Well, they got Sue Storm. What's her name? Vanessa Kirby. She's blonde.
Yeah, fantastic car. That's so badass.
It's pretty fantastic. There he was.
Man.
Fucking hell, dude. Holy moly.
Wow.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited. It feels like we have never gotten a Fantastic Four movie after watching it.
And
like, oh yeah, we had 2. 3 actually. It seems like it's going to be really good. It does.
Yeah.
There are things I don't like about it.
What didn't you like about that?
I don't believe Pedro Pascal is perfect for the part of Reed Richards. I never thought Vanessa Kirby was. I've only seen her in the Mission Impossible movies.
Who's that? Is that the blonde?
Yeah, that's the Sue Storm. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know her.
And the guy they got to play Johnny Storm, like he was in Stranger Things, the season that I didn't see, because he's British, right?
Yeah, that's another thing. Why, I said they always cast non-blondes as blondes, but it seems a British thing too. Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he was popular on that show, so it's like, okay.
He was great. I mean, he was a great character on the show.
Yeah.
I liked him in Stranger Things. I liked him in that Screaming Aliens. Come on.
Quiet Place.
Quiet Place?
The first one.
Yeah.
Zero.
No, yeah. He was in that.
Zero.
He was great, yeah.
Day one.
He's a good actor.
Well, that's good. That's good.
What's interesting is that everyone's saying, well, it's set in the 60s, set in the past. But then if they're going to do a multiverse, unless they do time travel, which maybe they'll do that.
Oh shit!
But it could just be another. They could be in 2025. It's just the aesthetic of that whole parallel universe is that's just the way they dress.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's a great point. That could be the '60s are how that dimension progressed, but it's our time. But when you said time travel, I just thought like, oh shit, what if Steve Rogers shows up with the Infinity Stones in that era, and he's like, oh shit, I fucked up. Hey, Reed Richards, I need to get back, and Reed helps him.
Oh, wow.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they'll do that, but that was the magic that, the possibilities, you know.
I kind of groaned a bit when I saw Herbie, because the thought was that he was created, he replaced Johnny in the animated show because kids were going to light themselves on fire if they. I watched it when I was a kid. I never had that urge, but hey,
Human Torch,
maybe. Yeah. But apparently that's not the reason. The reason they were using Johnny in something. They were using. Wasn't he in some other animated show? No.
No, I thought it was because it'd be too difficult to animate all that flame. But I love how I think John Byrne brought Herbie into the mainstream.
That's
comics.
right, he did.
Back when he was doing his awesome run.
Yeah.
In the 80s.
So apparently this movie is going to cover issues 48, 49, and 50, which is the Galactus saga. And then it's also going to touch on issue 1, which came out in 1961, drawn by Jack Kirby and scripted by Stan Lee, which means Stan Lee did not write it, per se, in that he just filled in the word balloons. People argue who's the real creative genius behind Marvel Comics, and I'd say obviously it was Jack Kirby, because once Jack Kirby left working for Marvel, he went on to create New Gods and all these other characters. Stan did what? Stripperella? I don't know. He did some.
He also did. Stan creates the DC universe back in the 90s, I think it was.
Yeah.
And and also Ravage 2099.
Oh, I missed that.
So yeah, but one couldn't happen without the other. I mean, Stan did a lot to help, because over at DC, I mean, Jack, arguably created some great frickin', legendary work over there. But, he kind of needed Stan. But it was like 80-20, I would say.
Yeah, no, I don't hate Stan Lee. I think he was he's an important player.
And a great head hairpiece.
Great. He doesn't have a great head of hair.
It was glued. I think he got that shit glued on permanently.
So anyways, if we cover issue 1, Fantastic Four, came out in 1961. The first panel is beautiful. It's just the words, the Fantastic Four, I believe. Is it the?
Yeah,
or does it say
Fantastic?
3 words.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four is sprawled across the sky in a cloud, and supposedly it's a flare that goes up, and people are looking up, what the heck is this? What is this? Because I guess the FF weren't well known at the time. This is Jack's writing, Stan Lee's writing, so I have to give him credit here. And it says, with the sudden fury of a thunderbolt, a flare is shot into the sky over Central City. 3 awesome words take form as if by magic, and a legend is born. Central City, that's not New York.
That is not.
That was the one thing that was always different about Marvel Comics, is set in the real world. Peter Parker lives in Queens, whereas, Metropolis and Gotham and whatnot.
Cities, so that was fictional cities. And I guess they were just starting off. This was the first Marvel comic, right? I mean, that we know of mainstream Marvel Comics, Fantastic Four, #1. And he probably after that issue, he was like, you know what, fuck it, we're going to put it in Manhattan. We're going to put it in.
So basically what happens in the comic is that the call goes out. The rest of the FF are scattered around the Central City, and Sue Storm, the invisible.
Wait, is she at a women's lib march?
No, she's at No, that's before.
Is she out playing golf?
Yeah. No, she was at a tea social with the ladies. She has to leave the tea social, so she turns invisible, and she gets into a cab and hands the cab driver his fare, and he sees just a dollar bill floating in the sky in the air, and he says, "Gang way." like you would if you saw. I would have said that if I saw a dollar bill floating. What else would you say?
Yeah, gangway.
I'd say gangway.
It was a big popular phrase back in the day.
Yeah, I guess. But you know what's interesting too? There's a line where she says, I think she gets out of the cab, and she says, "He didn't see me. It worked." Like, oh, what? Didn't she know?
Wow.
Like, I don't know. It's just
Interesting.
But this is the first issue, so
well, she's not wearing her costume. She's wearing regular clothes.
Yeah, maybe. He's rips out of his clothes, and he's on the streets of Manhattan, or no, I think he was at a.
It's funny how they have to like get out of their clothes or turn invisible immediately. Like she couldn't just leave. Excuse me, ladies. I need to take a cab. Here you go, sir.
Yeah, right. Just go. You know what's funny too, because Johnny, he's working on a hot rod. Because see, that's
there you go.
You know, he's a teen, and he's working on a hot rod with his pal, and he sees the call to action, and he, well, I better flame on while I'm in this car, and he melts the car as he flies away. A guy's like, "You just melted this hot rod," so yeah.
Didn't
like I said, he could have just walked out the fucking garage and just then flamed on.
This guy's an asshole. He's my favorite.
And Ben is running through the streets of Manhattan. And of course, cops see him. Hey, what's this freak? So they start shooting at him with their guns. And then he has to dig a hole into the sewers and go underground to avoid getting shot, which wouldn't hurt him anyway. I don't know. Anyways, but that was the storytelling back then. But then when they get there, you know, Reed tells them there's some disturbances, but they take that opportunity to flashback to their origin, which is also covered in the movies, which I don't know if this movie's going to do that, but they sneak onto the rocket and blast off, and they get hit with the cosmic rays that penetrate the ship, and that alters their DNA, kind of like the shot. You know. Shot, cosmic rays, same thing.
Same thing.
But I can't do that because it's going to flag the video.
What are you doing?
You're going to see this community note on the fucking video. Anyway, so like I said, I just reread it, and I want to see why did they actually have to sneak on there? Was there some like general that says, you guys can't go, you know, you're not. No, it's just like it's just one panel, and they're sneaking past the guard in the foreground, and they say something like, "They said we should wait, but screw that, we're going," or something. There was no real reason that they had to sneak at night and just go off.
It was like, we need to get our powers to start the story. We gotta.
But
I think in the Trank version, it wasn't a rocket ship; it was an interdimensional ship.
I did see that now.
Yeah,
remember,
and they went because they were young and brash, and they were like, "We can do this." And it was pretty neat.
Is he the guy that did?
Yes.
What was it called?
I forget. Chronicle.
Yes. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
That was fantastic.
See, if you're going to do that, like that's kind of what Snyder. Well, get the Snyder fans mad, but that can be done. Like, what was that? Was it Brightburn? Like the
I never saw that. I just saw
it's like an evil Superman.
Yeah.
Well, not that the Snyder's Superman was evil, but he lets his dad just die, and anyway.
That's evil.
Yeah. But when you just change the name, call it Brightburn, I'm all on board. You know what I mean? Same thing with Chronicle.
Yeah.
Go ahead, do this. Have these Supermen or whatever they were, their powers, but just don't call them by the characters that they're kind of like The Boys. You know, The Boys show where Homelander is kind of Superman.
Right. What if Superman was evil?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's great.
And corporate owned. And
Anyway, I'm getting off track.
Yeah, but hey, that's what we're supposed to do.
So yeah, they sneak on board, and then they crash.
And that's got to be. We only had one panel, and Stan's injecting some drama into it.
Weird
They're
shot.
like, why are they sneaking? Why are they going on at night? Okay, well, I'll just come up with this idea. It wasn't the thing their pilot? I mean, why did they have to have Ben Grimm on their ship with them? Because Reed was the scientist. Sue was, I don't know, in love with Reed. Johnny was whatever, but I thought Ben was the pilot.
It's funny too because it's always Reed is like, well, I'm doing this, and Sue's like, well, you're not going without me, mister, because I'm your wife. Don't forget about me. She does that a lot in these early issues. Like, she's like, he's always like, I'm leading the way. Well, you're not going anywhere, mister, without me. I'm
How
your
am
wife.
I going to cheat on her?
Yeah.
And then my little brother's coming too. But I thought
And I
Ben
go
was-
wherever Sis goes.
Yeah, you're not leaving anywhere without me, sis.
Damn it. When they were planning the trip into space, and Ben's like, no, this is a cockamamie idea, and it's whatever he says. This is a good idea. I'm not going. And Sue's like, I never figured Ben Grimm to be a coward. And that was enough for him to just say, all right, no one calls me a coward. So she goaded him into going. Actually, you know what? He should be pissed off about the whole thing, because if he didn't go, he'd still be his handsome Ben Grimm. So
He's got Susie to blame.
he does, really,
for
goading him to go.
that bitch.
I hope they touch on this
Yeah,
in the
they
movie.
better, man. And that's the thing too. In the trailer, they say, like, oh, like the Thing is our rock. I mean, Ben's our rock. It's like, oh, that's great, And then Johnny is Johnny, but Johnny's a hothead. Like, and Reed was like stretching himself, doing all this stuff,
Right.
spreading himself too thin. And she says, I'm always here, which is the opposite of being invisible. She felt shy and like, oh, I'm just I'm supposed to be, washing dishes. Behind my man 100%. And that's why she named herself the Invisible Girl, or did Reed name her that?
I think she named herself.
Yeah.
I know we mentioned this, is that they should definitely in this movie have the hands, the four hands that come in, and then Ben's hand comes in last, the big orange hand. And then he names himself, I'm what Susie called me. I'm a thing. And I think Johnny names himself. She calls herself the Invisible Girl. They just come up with the names, and of course Reed comes up.
Human Torch.
Did he say that?
I think so. I don't know. I'm pretty sure.
I think I think when he melted the hot rod, the guy goes, his mechanic friend was there. He goes, boy, he's blasting off like a human torch. He calls him that. I think that's when he's named. Actually, I think I have to check that. But
No, that was perfect, because that's what he named himself when they crashed. So I was like, hey.
but
And the Human Torch was originally in the old, what age of comics was that, with the Submariner and Captain America,
the Golden
Hitler
Age.
Puncher, and Human Torch the android.
Did he turn into the Vision?
Yes, they used his body in the comics.
As is super nerdy, but the original Human Torch from the Golden Age comics, it was Marvel.
I'm assuming.
Human Torch was an android, and then apparently that body became the Vision. That's a deep cut. But
Yeah. And the great thing was, at least they tried to insert that in the movies, in Captain America, when they're back in 1940, whatever, and they're going through the World's Fair, and they see Howard Stark with the floating car. There's the Human Torch android body standing in a big tube.
Oh.
And I think it says the Human Torch on there.
Wow. Well,
But yeah, so it's like an Easter egg in there, But then, of course, they brought the Vision in differently.
Yeah. Mr. Fantastic names himself Mr. Fantastic, which is a great name.
Why did he get that idea?
It's funny. He's probably, God, I'm fucking fantastic.
God damn,
I gotta come up with a name real quick. Hey, guys, call me Mr. Fantastic.
What do you think about this? You're the Thing. You're the invisible bitch. Okay, girl. And you, fucking flame face.
Yeah.
And me.
I don't know. But I have to tell you, too, the old Power Records, the old read-alongs had, they were cool, man. They were little comics, and then they had a sleeve in the back, which had a 45 vinyl. You'd read the comic along, and they had sound effects, everything. Actually, the guy who did the voice of Speed Racer, Peter Fernandez, I think.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah.
I never knew his name.
I think that was his name. But he did the voice of Peter Parker.
Nice.
I believe. I could be completely wrong, but I know he did some voices on that. I had the Spider-Man Man-Wolf one. I had the Werewolf by Night one. I had the Hulk and the Abomination. I've done it, sir. I've captured the Hulk. And that's how it ended. Like, fuck it. The Werewolf by Night one, I know the lines by heart. In the Fantastic Four one, the line in the comic is, and I will call myself Mr. Fantastic. Yet, in the Power Records, he says, as immodest as it may sound, I will call myself Mr. Fantastic.
Immodest as it may sound, mine will be Mr. Fantastic.
What I'm thinking is, the Power Records people are like, man, this guy's an asshole. we got to soften this. We don't want to teach the kids to be arrogant pricks. So they have to throw that in.
Oh, man.
You know?
Yeah.
So the selfie-facing little line there. They become
You think Stan went, what? His toupee went flying off. What did you do to my work?
Yeah. So anyways, they fight the Mole Man in that issue, and I don't know if the Mole Man's going to be in this
Let's
movie.
hope not.
So yeah, there's a lot of strange stuff going on in that issue where, you know, these monsters just come out of the ground and there's no real explanation of where they came from, and I don't think they're going to really have. I mean, it'd be interesting if they did, just tons of different monsters coming out of the ground, but
God dang.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
If they do, it'll just be maybe in a montage.
That'll be when Reed goes, let's get the hell out of this dimension.
Monsters? Yeah.
Gangway! And then he turns around the rest of the Fantastic Four with me. He's like, oh, thank goodness. Yes, let's explore this new world.
Jumping forward 3 years or so is the Galactus Saga, which starts with issue 48, which was released in March of 1966, which is the month and year of my birth.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah.
I hate to break it to you.
Yeah. Huh.
Do you remember with comic books how they would print the months
Yeah.
prior?
Yeah.
So it didn't actually probably came out several months before.
Yeah. They're usually way ahead. Either way, even if it's 3 months, I'm still
Doesn't
somewhere
matter,
in
it
the
still says
Galactus
it on the
Saga.
cover.
Yeah.
You're good.
All right. So, anyways, the issue 48 starts with this Inhumans story, wrapping it up there. I was never a big Inhumans fan. I know they did a show. I think it was ABC. Never really watched it. Wasn't a Game of Thrones guy in that?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Eternals was a Game of Thrones guy too.
Yes, that was Rob Stark. He
Yeah.
was the Icarus.
But the other guy was in the Inhumans.
Yeah, I forget his name.
The
but he's
other
one who
Stark
cut,
brother.
what's his name's? Well, Dickoff.
Yeah. I don't know. It didn't excite me because it wasn't comic accurate. If it would have had Black Bolt with his little thing on his head, I would have been like, maybe watched it. But
It was piss poor.
yeah,
Very bad.
no reason to
Not
talk
worth
about that.
talking
But it
about.
starts off with
But I remember that time, though, when I was at Marvel Animation. I took it upon myself to, rally the troops and say, guys, we need to make the Inhumans as exciting or more exciting than the X-Men. I know they're boring. I know they're based on, just a real crap idea that, the only cool thing about them was that they were on the dark side of the moon and that Black Bolt couldn't talk. If he did, he'd fucking destroy you. And Medusa had living hair. And Lockjaw, that was, teleportation dog. And
Oh, yeah.
the rule was you had to be petting him. Well, you had to have your hand on him and we ended up not following that rule. And it drove me fucking crazy just because, people were kind of far away. It was like, oh, we got to have them all, teleport away. And we can't just have them all all the Avengers surrounding and the Inhumans surrounding Lockjaw touching him. But I love those, limitations that Marvel puts on their characters. That's why.
Yeah.
And at the same time, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was introducing the Inhumans. And it was like, oh, okay. And it's leading up to this Inhumans TV show miniseries. And wow, did that stink. Yeah. Stank.
Didn't watch it. I think I saw some clips and said, this is not for me.
Tried watching the first episode that was filmed in IMAX for some fucking reason.
You're kidding.
It was like Okay, we got these IMAX cameras. How do we film it? Like we do a normal TV show? Okay, great. Let's do it. Oh, boy.
Okay, so issue 48, like I said, it deals with the Inhumans, and that wraps it up. And then as they're flying back in the Fantastic Jet, the Thing sees, he looks out of the window of the plane and says, of the jet, and says, hey, there's two suns, there's two suns in the sky. And Reed says, what are you mumbling about? No, I'm sorry.
Baby
I have to
shit brown rock creature.
It says, what in blazes are you mumbling about? Blazes, I don't want to forget that.
Blazes.
And it turns out the entire sky is engulfed in flame. They land the jet. They get out. We have to investigate this. Johnny's like, okay, I'll go check it out. He starts flying. Townspeople in Central City, or Manhattan. Now it's Manhattan, I guess. Hey, it's that kid. He did it. So they start throwing bricks. They throw a brick at him.
Yeah.
In the sky. One guy gets out a hose and he blasts him.
Nice.
Of course, that makes him fall out of the sky.
There's a great Kirby shot of him like this, the water splashing and that flames.
Yeah, so he puts him out, of course.
Those are the best
ready to
fucking
work him
panels
over.
that he drew, man.
Yeah.
Where it's just like something coming like the thing, like with his back. Pow! They're just like whoever he's getting punched.
Power in his art, man.
Yeah.
The
It's
best.
fucking wonderful.
So then they get Johnny and they're going to work him over because, of course, he lit the sky on fire. Then there's some really nice misogyny in the when really great, the best misogyny I've ever read in a comic.
Yeah.
Where Reed, what are you going to do, right? If this, and I empathize with him. He's like, the sky's on fire.
Yeah.
It's not like I can do anything. So he locks himself into, he goes into his room and shuts the door. I'm going to figure this out. And everyone's like, well, it's okay. And who gets angry? Sue. You haven't even eaten dinner. What are you doing in there? Don't bother me. He gets, they show him on the screen. She's yelling at him over the screen.
Does he have like a 5 o'clock shadow?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember this.
And he turns off the screen, goes, zzz. What? He cut off the connection. She busts in there. Listen, mister, I'm your wife. And she busts in. Who does she see? The Watcher. Standing
Holy
right there with the
shit.
Watcher, which is a badass shot.
Yeah.
It's a really great panel in that the Watcher is just standing there with this weird fucking device, like he's working on it.
Man.
And he's looking at her, and Reed is just kind of looking at the ground like, yeah, I'm here with him. It's really a cool shot. I don't know if that was Jack's intention, but it's a great, because Reed is really tiny, because the Watcher's big.
Yeah.
And he's just like, it's a great shot, and the Watcher, and then the sky fills with like debris, like all these rocks. The fire goes out, and then now it's just covered with all these rocks, and that's also just like, what the fuck is happening?
And then they see the Thing on the street and go, it was that guy, he did it.
Throw a brick at him. Yeah, he kicked some guy's ass. And he just.
That's the fucking shot. I was going to bring that up earlier. My favorite fucking shot is him just
big,
plink.
Rough guy.
Right, isn't that the sound effect? Plink.
Yeah, it is plink, yeah. But going back to the trailer we just watched where the flames are coming down out of the night sky, I'm thinking that might be the flames that was in this issue, where it's just a wall of flame. Because what happened
I don't remember seeing that in the trailer. I really don't.
It's right before Johnny takes off. From the balcony.
Oh, right.
They're looking over at the skyline.
Yeah.
And you see like
maybe
15, 20 of these things. Just,
okay.
They look like fireballs just coming down out of the sky.
It's the coming of Galactus.
So the Watcher, he spills the beans. He's like, listen, Galactus is going to come here. He's going to eat the Earth. And he's sending his herald, Silver Surfer. So if he sees this planet as possible food, we have to disguise it. So First he That's why he
shit!
created,
That's what he's trying to do.
that's a great idea, actually.
And he's breaking his oath to help.
And the Watcher,
Yeah.
even Sue calls him out, like, because the Watcher, his thing is just to watch.
Yeah.
Goddamn guy's always interfering, but
Yeah.
I heard Jeffrey Wright is in the movie is going to be the Watcher.
Oh.
I don't know. I only know
Okay.
him from. I think I only know him from Westworld. Unless do you know him
The
from,
Batman. He was Commissioner Gordon, and he was in Shaft as well with Sam Jackson, and he was so good in Shaft that they upped his role. They wrote him more scenes, and Christian Bale was the main villain in that, and they reduced his amount of screen time because Jeffrey Wright was just stealing the show. He was also in Invasion, which was a remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers with Nicole Kidman and James Bond. What's his name? The blonde guy.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Craig something. What's his name?
Kilborn.
Kilborn, yeah.
They may just, they may just use his voice. He's in that What If show. I've seen the first season.
Oh, that's right. There you go. He's the fucking voice
voice
of Uatu. Yeah.
Right. Have you watched that series?
I tried to. I could tell they just have the same designs that they have to keep reusing and reusing. So it's just going to be Peggy Carter, Captain Carter, and
I watched the first season because you know what? It's an old friend of ours, a guy, friend, but Brian Andrews. You know Brian Andrews? Do you remember him from Jackie Chan?
No.
So I used to direct on Jackie Chan Adventures, and there were 3 of us directing on that first season. And it was me, and it was Brian Andrews, and this other guy. Just forget about that guy.
Jeez.
Yeah, but we were all martial artists. And Brian Andrews was a wushu guy. I'm a JKD, different Muay Thai kind of MMA, if you want to call it. But Brian Andrews was the guy that heads this What If show. He was a wushu guy, which is very flashy, very jumpy. For his episodes, Jackie Chan, he had some wonderful shit. Jackie was jumping around. I'll never forget, there was one episode he did where Jackie was in the, it was treasure or something, and he found a bunch of this treasure, and it was like an Indiana Jones thing. And all these spears were coming out of the wall. And he had Jackie doing all this like acrobatic shit, and this is before digital. This is all on paper.
Yeah.
And it came, and I'm like, holy shit, this guy's good. He's way better than me. So that's why he's running. He's running What If, and I'm sitting in this chair. Anyways, but I'm getting off track. But the What If, I did watch the first season. Enjoyed some episodes are better than others.
Yes.
But Jeffrey Wright, that's his name, Jeffrey. Right?
Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright played the Watcher. So maybe it's they're just going to use his voice in this, or if he's even going to be a key part, because he's very instrumental in this Galactus saga in the comics. So I'm assuming they're going to use him that much in this.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
that would be really. I love the fact that the same actor plays the character even in TV cartoons. I think that's fucking awesome. But I got to voice the Watcher on our show, Avengers Assemble.
Did you get paid that for?
No.
Okay.
But all I did was Clancy Brown was the voice of our Watcher. And he was like, "Hey Jeff, why don't you get in there?" And because we had this shot. I forget who drew it. I think Justin Copeland might have drawn the scene, and Thanos breaks into Uatu's lab on the moon. He's got like this big lab, and Uatu turns around and goes, and the camera trucks in on him because Thanos is standing right there, and that's all they needed was, and so
You did it?
I went in there and I did, and so that's me going,
All right, I got to find the clip.
While I have sympathy for the Earthlings,
Is this Avengers Assemble?
it's
Okay, so we're getting off track again, but
I'll
here's
find
what happens. Silver Surfer shows up. So if you guys don't know, Silver Surfer's job is a herald of Galactus, where what he does, he's basically recon. He flies around, scouts out possible planets for Galactus to devour, and he finds one. He's like, yo, Galactus, I found one. And then Galactus shows up, drains the planet, and moves on.
He doesn't actually eat the planet.
Yeah.
He absorbs its energy,
George's
all its
energy.
elemental energy.
But then he sends the signal out. Watcher is like, yo, he's going to send a signal to Galactus. Stop him. And Ben, he sends the signal, and Ben goes over and he goes, yeah, I'll take care of him. And he hits him, and it says, Bach.
Be okay.
He punches him, Bach.
Yeah.
And he falls off a building, right? So he just, there's a shot of Silver Surfer falling. And the Watcher's like, you're going to need more than that. This, Silver Surfer is super powerful. But he falls and he's gone. Like, he's out of the picture, right?
Oh, wow.
Then we cut to Galactus, where he's at, and his, what they call these things? Testing devices. There's a splash page, a Jack Kirby splash page. Remember when he would use like photos? Like he did
Yeah,
a lot
I
in
hated
New
that
God.
shit.
Yeah.
Hated it.
And he used, dude, this splash page is fucking wild, man. It looks like, because I'm a big Ultraman fan from this, you know what? Maybe, would it be? Because Ultraman 66. Anyways, it's a splash page of all these like spaceship things and weird things like cut and pasted and Xeroxed and pasted down on this is Galactus's testing devices, right? Is that what they call it? Testing devices?
Testicle devices.
Yeah. They pick up the Silver Surfer signal, and one looked just like the Ultraman Science Patrol's ship.
Oh,
Part of
it was a
Part of it.
photocopy. So
It was a
he probably
photocopy.
got it out of the magazine. And
I think. I don't know. I have to look at that and check it out. But anyways, and and also other things are attached to it, like probably part of a vacuum and some fucking household appliances. But anyways, so those testing devices pick up the signal, and Galactus, boom, Galactus is on Earth, and he just shows up, and that's the first time you see him. He's just standing there, and he's red and green. Dude, that's the only shot you see him. And he's got his G on his chest.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome, man.
I hated that color scheme.
And they didn't use it. And then right after that, like panels late, like that's the last panel.
Yeah.
Next issue, first shot, he's purple. He's back. He's in his purple. So I guess somebody said no.
Somebody got a no prize.
Right?
A lot of no prizes for that. Okay, here you go.
Now this starts issue 49, and Galactus is there in his purple, and he's got shorts, which I dig, man. He's got, you see skin. He's wearing shorts. Like, not Speedos.
I'm not talking about.
You call them boxer briefs, they call them.
Yeah, I'm not laughing at the fact he's wearing shorts. I'm laughing at which I dig.
But anyways,
Have you ever seen Galactus with his helmet off? Bob Layton drew him like that in the Hercules miniseries, where Hercules was punching Galactus, and I guess he took his helmet off.
I might have.
And
I
he
think,
just has a nice full head of hair.
wait, isn't there? There is one. It's like a Marvel one shot, and I have it. It's just called Galactus.
Oh, really?
It's a one shot. It's a comic too. It's
Yeah.
not a trade paperback or anything. And I think they have the whole. I have to. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird.
I'm
And
pretty sure
I
they
like
show
how
him
he's
with
got
those.
his eyes are just like his pupils are those little like squares. Yeah, like yeah.
Dude, okay, so we watched the trailer. Did you see I think it was in Paris or something, they had some type of Marvel show, and there was a clip of Galactus looking in the window?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw that on a horrible phone being recorded from LA.
And I think that's the only, it never officially came out.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can see
Yeah,
it. If
just
you want to look,
and that had a little Herbie's in the foreground. That's how you knew that Herbie was going to be in it.
yeah. And you can look that up.
His eyes.
Dude, that is the most haunting thing for me. Because I used to watch tons of Godzilla movies. And, of course, now people just laugh at those silly ones. But I always just pictured, what if that giant fucking monster was here and he just stomping like my family and the house and my dog and like Cloverfield. I was so excited when Cloverfield came out. I'm thinking they're taking my fears seriously. And for the most part, I like Cloverfield. It had its problems, but it did capture what I felt like as a child. And
I just
that
remember
shot,
the hype around that movie, not the movie itself.
Yeah, I watched it several times. Anyway.
Well, that's good.
Godzilla, he would stomp on you. He doesn't look at you. He just walks past you, which is kind of haunting in
Your
itself.
toe jam.
Right.
For him.
But the fact that Galactus peeked in the window, dude, that was horrifying to me. Dude, I can't get over it. It's just,
Wow.
It's something, like imagine something that gigantic. Dude, I'm telling you, I try and get people to picture this. Picture driving home, something picks up your car and looks right at you.
Yeah.
That big. You're just so insignificant, but they see you too. Like that's horrifying to me, man.
Wow.
I don't know. That shot is so beautiful to me. And it's a shame they didn't show it in this trailer, but I guess they want to kind of not show too much of Galactus.
Yeah, I just seen the back of his helmet was enough for me, and it looked like you could build a house on his helmet. You know,
so
like
beautiful.
how big Galactus. Remember at the end of Rise of the Silver Surfer, the Fantastic Four movie, was just a cloud, like a nebulous cloud in space with some sort of tendril-y.
Well, there's a part where so in the comic, the FF are like, well, let's kick his ass kind of thing. And the thing, obviously, I'm gonna slug him. Watcher's like, don't bother. And then he's trying, and Galactus not affected. They're so insignificant.
Yeah.
And then at one point, Galactus just drops a little device, and it just blows up, and it's just smoke. And they're like, Reed's like, it's just insect repellent to him. So that keeps him at bay.
That's pretty rude.
So we cut back to Silver Surfer. He had fallen off the building. He lands on a skylight, falls through it. Then he lands in Alicia's art studio, which Alicia Masters is Ben Grimm's.
The puppet master. I just got that right now because that's her dad, the puppet master.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Right?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
Anyways, Alicia, she's blind. Oh. Yeah. No, it's not.
Wait, let's try this old joke. Well, hang on. Sanji, producers are calling. You don't say. You don't say. You don't say.
Okay.
You don't say.
What'd they say?
I'm supposed to say, who was it?
Hey, that's right. Wait, do it again.
So I think Alicia Masters, I just put two and two together, like her dad is the puppet master.
Right.
Right?
I don't know.
All right. Want me to answer?
No.
Okay. Hello?
It's a prank call.
You don't say. You don't say. You don't say.
What'd they say?
You fucking idiot! Oh, man. Oh, jeez. Hello? You don't say. You don't say. You don't say. I'm saying it wrong. You don't say. You don't say. It doesn't make any sense anymore. You don't say.
Who was that?
He didn't say. Step on it.
Okay. So Silver Surfer follows Alicia, talking to her.
She falls in love with him.
Kind of.
And he kind of falls in love with her. You remind me of Shalabal, who will now be me in the new FF First Steps movie.
You know, the blonde chick from Ozark.
Yeah, from Wolfman.
But Galactus, meanwhile, he's building his elemental converter. I thought
It's great. He comes down and he's got to build it.
Yeah.
So he's just standing there building it while everybody's like, "Whoa!"
I love that. That's
awesome.
The coolest thing, man. I pray that they do that in this movie.
You would think that he'd have it all ready to go.
No.
But no, he's got to build it.
Nope.
It's great. I love that.
Just these pieces floating.
Yeah,
and shit,
yeah.
Just putting them together.
Like, how the fuck is he doing this?
So the Watcher's like, all right, well, he's building this. Johnny, you got to go to the end of the universe and get this thing from Galactus's home, and this is the only thing that will stop him. Johnny's like, all right, I'll do whatever you need, and the Watcher sends him through a time hole or something like this, and he's gone. Ben is still trying to fight Galactus, so Galactus is like pulls the Punisher out of space and time, which is this not Frank Castle, it's just this metal dude, like this stumpy looking dude, probably about the size of thing.
Wow.
And they just start battling, punching, and there's this rad panel where the Punisher's just basically flailing, and it's just speed line. He becomes just speed lines of like flailing arms, and he's beating the shit out of
Oh my God.
It's not so one-sided, but then the thing is like, whoa, this guy's tough, and then Sue makes an invisible force field, and they like kind of retreat back into it. Galactus is like, all right, thanks, you did a good job, Punisher. Now you can go. And then we come back to Silver Surfer, and he's talking with Alicia, and she's, he's explaining, well, I have to just do this for Galactus. So, and she's like, yeah, but we're people, we're real, we have lives. Don't you have compassion? She gives him a meal, and he absorbs. What is this? I don't need to eat. Which is weird because he wasn't always the Silver Surfer guy. He had a life.
Oh shit! Yeah, Surfer doesn't eat. Yeah.
Yeah, and
how long has he been Silver Surfer? He's probably
eons.
Maybe eons. Yeah.
But then he just absorbs this meal. He's like, this is not bad. He doesn't. It's not like he puts it in his mouth.
Yeah.
You know what? And let me sidetrack. There was an Epic. Remember that comic magazine? I think
Epic
I'm almost
Illustrated.
positive it was Epic, and there was a. This stuck with me forever. Dude, I must have read it when I was 10, 11, whatever. It was a Galactus Silver Surfer story. And it was painted, like you didn't see many comics that were like painted back then. Yeah. It was really like trippy, for a kid my age, because you're used to seeing just the stuff that's sold at 7-Eleven and this stuff. Silver Surfer goes to Galactus. He says, what is the answer? And Galactus is like, he's just standing on this barren like moon somewhere and stars and stuff. And he's like, what is the answer? And the Galactus goes, there is no answer. And Silver Surfer's like, there has to be an answer. And he blasts off to go find the answer. And Silver Surfer's flying. And there's all these, captions like, he flies for eons, could be millennia, and he flies past sees the birth of stars, the death of, black holes. And he's just flying. It's just him cruising. He's going faster and faster and faster. And he's going, it's for this whole, I don't know how many pages, probably 4 or 5 pages. And then in the distance, you see the back of Galactus' head standing on that thing. And he just cruises up and he just ends up behind Galactus. And he goes, Galactus like, I told you, there is no answer. And that's it.
Shit!
Isn't it badass?
It's the end of everything, huh? He ate all
or
the
he just
planets.
went through everything, through the entire universe, and just showed back up. And
But
just
I
like
mean,
this loop. I don't know.
I see it as Galactus. They've completed it. That was it.
Maybe
He ate all the planets.
I don't know.
He couldn't find any new planets, man. Right?
Maybe.
Although he was just running in a straight line like an idiot.
I don't know. It's just, I could be misremembering this entire thing. It might not even exist, but I'll have to hunt that down for this episode.
Either way, man, that was a great story.
Yeah. So we get to issue 50. Reed and Banner are like, "Where's Johnny?" And the Watcher tells them. He has a great line, which I had to write down. He says, "He has gone to a world so unspeakably distant that it beggars description." I had never heard that word "beggars" written that way.
Right. Used in that.
Beggars.
Yeah.
So I actually went and looked up the definition of beggars, and when it's used as a verb, it's basically something that's like unable to describe. You're unable to describe it. Anyway, so I learned a new word. Thought that was pretty interesting.
Glad somebody did.
Johnny returns through space and time, and but what was cool, he didn't just pop up and, hey guys, I have this device. He's like traumatized. He's like, I can't fathom what I just went through. It was really cool. They're like, Reed's holding him up, he's like,
that's great.
I'm back, and holy shit. And he has this thing called the Ultimate Nullifier.
Oh,
Weird little, it looks like this pipe. It's basically this.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what was needed to stop Galactus.
Yeah, be careful, your tobacco's going to fall out.
I smoked it all. Oh. And they show it to Galactus. There's a great shot, too, where Reed is stretching out his arm like this.
Yeah.
He's showing it to... he's just showing this thing. I swear, it looks just like this, and he's showing it to Galactus. He's like, whoa, hey, chill out. He's like, I'm sorry. He's like, you don't realize the power you have in your hand. You could destroy the solar system. Reed's like, all right, you're going to knock it off. And then Galactus is like, I will. I'll leave your planet. Give me the nullifier, and I'm out of here.
Fuck
and
you.
They're basically like, bullshit. And the Watcher's like, hey, whatever Galactus says, believe. Like I even wrote he says, he is the living truth, never to be questioned. Basically, like, when he says, I'm going to leave, he's going to leave, which was really badass. Now,
that's the great thing. You can bargain with Galactus. You can make a bargain, and as long as you pull through on your end, he's gonna follow it. He's not
Now.
gonna ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, will this movie do that?
Oh shit, yeah. They won't do the ultimate null. Well, they might do the ultimate nullifier, but that was just so easy.
But that's
But that was the great. Even though it was easy, like, oh, here's this thing. Even though it wasn't easy for Johnny, but it's like, oh, here's this pipe.
yeah.
And then he's like, whoa, shit. But the fact that's the big twist of him saying, give me the nullifier and I'll take off.
Yeah.
That's what makes it special.
Yeah.
That's what makes it different, interesting. You know, so if they do something like that, sorry, spoilers, you heard it here first. Average people.
I'm trying to think. Is that something like a teen is going to go, let's go see the new Marvel movie. And then they're like, what, that's it? They just gave him this pipe and now he's gone? Like, they're going to we need all these explosions. We need, a big battle. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how they're going to handle the defeat of Galactus.
Yeah, and that's surprising to me because I didn't remember it being so simple.
Part of me thinks that Galactus, he succeeds in this movie and planet is gone, and that's how FF make their escape, and they
That
end
would
up
be
in-
fucking tragic.
It's dark.
As hell, yeah.
It's like Rick and Morty stuff,
Yeah.
It's like, well, our timeline is done. We got to get the
Yeah.
F out of here.
That
And-
would, yeah, it's
yeah,
too
it's
bad.
too dark. You think
And-
it's too dark for them to do? I don't know. Who knows how they're going to handle it in this movie?
Or what if they did this? What if they transferred all of the Marvel universe to that 60s?
Oh, no, I would dig
Oh
that.
man! Oh no! That would be a good way to reset the cinematic universe.
Yeah.
That'd be a good way to do it. That'd be really interesting. Can you imagine like young Peter Parker walking down the street?
Yeah. He could have his flat
Fantastic
top that I
Four.
want him to have.
Yeah, and the
That would be
big
cool.
round spectacles.
Yeah, big round. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention the Silver Surfer. After his little talk with Alicia, he battles Galactus for most of the ending. Keeps trying to fight Galactus and Galactus, how dare you?
Power cosmic. I gave that to you.
yeah.
You think you could do anything against me? Ow.
So for all of that, he strips Silver Surfer of his ability to fly off world. But now he's stuck on Earth.
Right.
He can't go anywhere.
Which is great.
And then it ends with Alicia on the rooftop with talking with Silver Surfer. Hey, you're a great guy. Now you can hang out here on Earth. And Ben is like, oh, she's really falling for that guy. Nobody's going to love an ugly mug like me. He kind of leaves, and he's all depressed. And I think he spends the rest of the issue bummed out. Who would love me? And a girl sees him on the street. A monster. He's like, yeah, I'm just a monster. And then it's that whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the
Self-pity
Silver
party.
Surfer can roam no more. You know the Silver Surfer's name. I forget his name, but
Norrin Rad.
Rad, where he
Fucking rad. Did he do that on purpose? Surfer's rad. Well,
Oh,
skaters would say
could
rad,
be.
but
because I read his origin. Like you said, you can bargain with Galactus, and that's how his planet was going to get eaten,
yeah, exactly.
or her planet is going to get eaten. And she makes a deal. Like
might
Galactus is
be
like,
the
I'm
best.
eating this planet. No, stop. I'll be your herald.
You could
Okay,
leave the other planets.
then I'll eat
Juicier
other
than
planets.
this one.
Right.
Yeah.
So, if they're going to even lean into that at all, I don't know. Also, have to mention, you saw John Malkovich in that trailer, the guy with the white hair.
John Malkovich.
I said his name, right? John Malkovich. The speculation is that he's going to play a character named the Red Ghost, which was issue number 13, which I also read, and it's a very basic character. He's just a Russian commie. Back then, the Red Scare was a big thing.
Didn't he have a giant gorilla or
He had
something?
gorilla. Yeah, he had these primates that he controlled. It's a very forgettable issue, and I think it was just one. I don't know why they're choosing him. Yeah, whatever. But he's supposedly going to be in the movie. Anyway, that's all we know so far. Looking forward to seeing maybe more trailers, or maybe I won't even watch the trailers. I think I've seen enough to know that I'm going to go, so I don't think I need to see any more spoilers.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I might have to turn off my station. Mike Tyson. You ever hear that?
No.
You don't like what you see? Turn off your station.
You have a problem? Turn off your station.
That's what I say when I see a new trailer. I'm going to turn off my station.
How about that?
All right. So that's it for this episode of Hollywood Night Heat.
This is the Thing. With a few pumps of the inflator, you can make the Thing expand in size. Place the Thing in the rock trap, pump the inflator, and within seconds, the Thing will crash out of the trap. The Thing comes complete as shown, some assembly required. The Thing by Fun Stuff.